So I think at some point I asked you, like, what's going on here?
The lifestyle that I was living then wasn't anything that I feel like is what I do today.
The thing is, though, like, I always knew that I wanted to be with you, but then among your other flings, how did you know that you wanted to, like, be with me forever?
When we started like dating and you told me like, hey, is this for real? Because if not, I need to know. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is for real.
You were with me through like my bad breakup, my other flings. I used to vent to you about people that I was like into at the time. Like, it's crazy.
So how did we meet? This podcast isn't going to be about how we met and us as a couple, how we go through marriage, parenting, work-life balance.
Mm-hmm. So ironically, we met through dance.
No way.
Not so ironic, because obviously we still dance together, but well, we didn't meet, but everyone who knows us knows that we met at my grandma's birthday party back in 2006.
I was at Mima's house, right? On Cherry.
Yeah. And Troy was doing some Filipino cultural dancing. And I was like, how old was I in 2006? Like 13? I was like, oh, he's cute. But I didn't really like...
With my shield and a sword and we...
Yeah, like I didn't do anything about it, but I was like, oh, he's here at my grandma's party. Like, that's cute. And then like 3 years later, we met again at Groove class.
Group dance class, yeah.
Yeah, I think my first class was Mike Perez.
Probably Mike Perez, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And like, I didn't really think much of it back then because you were just, like, you had another girlfriend at the time, and I was just wanting to get into the
dance community.
Get into the scene, yeah. And from there is when I joined Hi-Fi, and were you already directing Formality?
I was already directing Formality. I was directing, like, I was maybe dancing for like a year and a half serious, and then they were like, you're a director. I was like,
okay.
Oh, okay, me and Aldrin.
Yeah.
And I choreographed that mommy routine for you, and that was
my first time learning from you.
I taught Hi-Fi one of their routines. I think it was their opener.
Yeah, opener at Pulse.
For Pulse. I taught the routine, blocked it. Oh no, did I block it?
I don't think you did. I think
whatever.
Daffy might have.
Yeah, and then at that time, Hi-Fi and Formality Las Vegas, we were separate entities. And then we were like, why don't we all just combine to be one team? And so myself and Aldrin were the directors of a team called High Profile. And I directed that in 2010.
Yeah, that's when we...
2010. 2009 is like our first like iteration.
It was becoming a thing.
It was becoming like a co-ed
joint
group.
Thing, yeah.
And 2010 is when we actually started competing it. And from there, I just directed up until I started working for Jabba. And then when I started working for Jabba, I passed it on to you and Greg.
And I was kind of helping. We were at the Beat, or it might have been before the Beat. I think maybe back at
High Def.
Yeah, High Def is when I started helping like with travel and social media and class and stuff. So I guess that was me already preparing to become like a leader. Like I wasn't expecting that. I would have never guessed that I would ever had been a director of HP because, that just wasn't in my plan.
It was such a prestigious thing at the time, and I was strictly like dance. Like for me, I had girlfriends at the time too, but for me it was like I was really focused on how I can improve dance. So I was trying to go to LA, but I also booked Jabberwockies, and that took a lot of time away from me in High Profile. And MARISA was already like she was already a leader within the group.
Yeah, I was invested.
And then Greg also was very much invested in the group, and you guys are best friends. So, and Aldrin had already removed himself from the equation. It was just me.
He was kind of helping us, but he just wasn't really like fully in.
Yeah, that was the same for me. Like I didn't want to like step on any toes or anything. So I went away for a bit, and her and Greg were directing exclusively. When I came back from Jabba, which was like, we did like a Universal Studios thing, you and I had already kind of like started a fling. I don't know.
I think it was before you went to Universal.
It was like I was out of HP, but I wasn't like.
Yeah, like yeah, it was before you left for Universal because I remember I was like sad, but like we weren't really like together yet. Because before Universal is when we had like our first Disney trip and we would go on dates and stuff, sushi, Buffalo Wild Wings. But
a lot of it was just because we were like talking work, like HP stuff, like, and then Greg would be there too, and we would all just like, all right, what do we need to work on?
And then we would just hang out like on the side.
And then Greg wouldn't show up at sometimes, and it would just be me and you,
Yeah.
and then so we'd be talking, and I don't know, it like kind of just slowly like turned into a relationship, like on accident.
Yeah.
Stumbled into it.
Yeah, because I remember like the one moment when I think I had asked you like because during the first part of our like fling, like I wasn't really like showing interest in anybody, but I know you were. So I think at some point I asked you like I didn't give you an ultimatum. I was just like, what's going on here? You know?
Honestly, I didn't even know what I was doing either.
Yeah.
To be honest, like the lifestyle that I was living then wasn't anything that I feel like is what I do today.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even care to have like a serious relationship. It wasn't like something that I was still focused on dance.
Yeah.
Like for me, I wanted to make a career of myself. I wanted to make dance like a really like huge thing. But then like when we started like dating and you told me like, hey, is this for real? Because if not, I need to know. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is for real. And then we started taking it more seriously, and then we started doing Disney trips like weekly. We would do like overnight trips to Disney.
Oh, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, we would
Not overnight, suicide trips.
Suicide trips, like we would literally leave at like 5 a.m. or something.
Go straight to the park,
and then come
close
home,
the park.
close the park and come home.
Yeah.
And a bunch of sushi dates, Korean barbecues, and in a studio.
But like, the thing is though, like I always knew that I wanted to be with you, but then, like among your other flings, how did you know that you wanted to like be with me forever?
Forever. Oh gosh, that's right, we are forever. Among the other flings, none of them were serious about like relationships either. To me, like you were the only one that really felt like, all right, what's our future?
Yeah.
Like whatever relationships I had in the past, no one really talked like a future, and I never even thought of that of myself because I came from a broken family too, so like a husband and wife didn't really like make sense. It was just kind of like my dad and
you
my
didn't
mom.
have like that to look off of.
I didn't really have like family to like model what forever marriage was supposed to look like, and then when you started talking to me about like a family and a future, like what is this? What are we?
And bringing you around my family.
Yeah, like I had to.
I know that was weird for you at first.
Very weird, because I don't carry kids. I don't talk to children. I was only used to talking to like grown men and like
being dumb,
doing dumb dance stuff all the time. So I didn't really have like a model to like know what was right and what was wrong, or what is even like my purpose of like, do I even want to get married? Like none of that even crossed my mind until I met you and your family. And then I was like, oh, this is different, and it's safe. Because a lot of my other relationships were not healthy or safe. And, for me, to be honest with you, like I took my time, mostly because I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't want to like assume I knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
And, and I'm glad I kind of like took it slow with you, because
we had a really great friendship leading up to that. Like you were with me through like my bad breakup and like my other flings. I used to vent to you about people that I was like into at the time. Like it's crazy.
I mean, I was like at the time I didn't even see you as like as having a relationship. Period. I was just doing the director thing. When someone comes to you hurt, you can't just be like, oh, that sucks, bye. You kind of.
But I didn't feel like you were my director. Like we would talk. Like all the time.
We would have serious talks,
Yeah.
We would have like more intimate talks, like personal stuff. But like when you were going through those breakups, I never like just was like, oops, sucks to be Marisa today.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like, okay, I have to console her because if I don't, like, she's not going to stay on this team anymore. We lose a good dancer. Yeah, and then I think that's how the relationship blossomed. But I think how like I knew I was going to marry you was like the whole family aspect, like how you pretty much gave me the things that I never really like grew up having.
Yeah.
And meeting your family, seeing how you treat your family as opposed to how I treated mine, and how you guys interacted, it was.
And we always get together like.
Yeah, like that was
bi-weekly.
That was so different for me. Like my family all lived in California for most of my life until like towards the end of my grandparents. They moved to here because they needed help. My mom would help them. But outside of that, like I had no family here, and even today, like I barely talk to my side of the family. It's occasionally, but it's mostly because we just don't. It's a distance thing. Like they live in California, I live here. So when I do see them, it's like during Christmas time, Thanksgiving, like all the
our wedding, that was a
weddings, birthdays, baby showers, things like the important stuff we're there for. But for your family, it's like once a week we meet, at least at church, and then once a week we meet to have like dinner or lunch.
Yeah, like we're literally having dinner at the house this Thursday.
Yeah, like your mom would always like
encourage
serve me food and cook me food. Like for me, like I never had that kind of family to like do that for me other than my mom.
Yeah.
But like.
And I think that's why like towards the beginning of us dating, you would your like body language would be a little like reserved when we would have like family parties, because you're like, do I accept the food? Like, do I eat? Like, how do I act?
Yeah, I don't even know, like, I didn't know I had to say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, I didn't know who was who. I like, at some point, I've forgotten people's names because there were so many of
And you learned that no matter what, you always have to say hi to Mima.
Yeah, always have to say hi to Mima.
And Auntie Carol.
Auntie Carol, always.
Yeah.
Like your brother, I didn't know he was your brother. Your sister, I didn't know she was your sister. And oh, that's the pastor. And who's she married to? Like, it took me like.
Yeah, whose kid is that?
The family lines kind of like got really blurred, and then at some point I took initiative. I was like, okay, I need to learn these people, because if I'm going to be a part of this family, I have to know them.
Yeah.
And that changed just my complete perspective on how I treat people and families, and like, yeah, that's how I knew. I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to see like where we came from, because like when we first started dating, like we obviously had no kids. I was working at the Cosmo. What else? You were at Jabba, and I would like at some point when we were like dating, you lost your car. Remember? And
oh yeah, my car got blown out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, were we married already by then?
We were.
No, right? Because I would drop you off.
We were engaged, I think.
Okay. Because I would drop you off to work every day, pick you up, and we would go to B-dubs or sushi or whatever, like every night.
We used to get sushi, B-dubs, Korean barbecue every single night.
That's crazy, because I could never want to spend that much money now.
Well, because we have a mortgage. Back then we were just.
Yeah, we were living at home still.
I had no car payment.
Yeah.
I was making pretty good money. So.
All we paid for was like our phone, I think.
I paid for insurance for the car that it broke down. No, you know what? I was living at Coolwater when my car broke down.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't have a car. And, yeah, I had a roommate, Justin, and he worked at the show. So we would.
And then I would come probably after. I would just go hang out while you're finishing the show.
Or Morgan, one of the two would take me.
Yeah.
Or we would be together anyway, so you would just take me and pick me up.
Yeah.
Or you would just sit and watch the show, because
I watched the show so many times that year.
You have so many tickets in our, just like a little booklet of how many times she watched the Java show.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, at that point I was like, yeah, this is forever. It's so like proposing to you was very easy. The only difficult part was making it feel special. And it was at our first studio, which was High Profile Dance Academy. It's the big warehouse right by Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
It's like walking distance from Allegiant Stadium now. If we still own that building, oh my God.
I'm sure our rent would have
our rent would have went through the roof, or we would have gotten kicked out. But I had to plan it with PG, because Playground was our baby at the time. HP
still is our baby.
HP kind of like passed on, and Playground was our focus, and so we had just won HHI, or we were about to go to HHI. It was our send-off.
Yeah, it was our send-off.
And we ended up getting third place.
It was August.
We got
2nd.
first place day one, third place going into finals.
No, that was our first year.
The following year.
Yeah, it was the blue.
We got third.
Oh, we did get third.
We got third.
At USA.
Yeah.
Ironically, we got engaged on Joven's birthday, remember?
Oh, that's right.
That's why I'll always remember our engagement day is August 2nd.
Yeah.
2015. No, 2017.
Yeah. So I called your mom first to tell her, and then I called your sister, and then I put them both on the phone together to like plan.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I do this? How can I make this special? So your sister came up with the idea of having it at playground rehearsal and our send-off because everyone was going to be there. Literally half the community was there.
Literally,
to our send-off.
Yeah. And that's why like all my family showed up. I was like, "You're here for our send-off?"
Yeah. And so
like distant family.
Yeah. So everyone showed up because everyone knew except for you.
Yeah.
And so I had all the PG kids bring in a rose.
Yeah.
Got down on a knee. Everyone started screaming. And I didn't hear you say yes. You were just like you had that cry that you have.
I was like, "Hello, are you gonna put the ring on me?"
Did you say yes? I don't know what to do. And then we connected.
Whose idea was it to have like Bernie and Pastor?
Octave.
That was nice.
And your mom went. And then when I brought the ring, the first person I called was your mom and Ate Sherry. And I got a steal on it because it was worth a lot more, but I didn't pay that much, and that wasn't even up to me. I was in my account, I was like, I'm ready to pay this amount. And then I showed up and they told me a much less amount. I was like,
"You're like, yes."
Are you sure? Like, this feels wrong.
Yeah,
like no, it's a gift. I was like, oh, okay, cool, bye. And I was like,
ran out.
I felt scared because when you make a big purchase like that, you want to like hide it. So I was like, I had this bag tucked into my armpit so
You're
tight.
like, act natural, act cool.
And that was a trip. I went to like 4 different places because I wasn't like sold on anything particularly until I saw the one. It was from Zales. There was one off of Sahara.
Yeah, the
physical
standalone.
location. Yeah, I just went there. I went there one day. I was like, "Hey, do you have this?" They're like, "No, but I think our other location has it." Their location was the outlet.
South outlet.
The South outlet. I went there and I said, "Oh, I want this one." It's like, "Oh, okay, we'll ship it to you, or it'll be in X amount of days." I was like, "Perfect." They did like a huge liquidation sale on that ring particularly, and they price match online.
Got lucky.
So I got a price match online so they obviously discounted that.
Yeah, of course.
And then since they were doing a sale that day, I freaking got an even bigger discount. So I was like, dude, I should just bought a more expensive ring today. But yeah, and then.
No, I love my ring.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The whole process, like I wish I had a vlog back then because that whole process was organizing. It was really stressful.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Yeah, but now that's why I record everything.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when are we ever going to relive those moments? Because we can't get them back. It's only just memories at this point.
That was like probably the second best day of my life.
Next to our wedding?
Yeah.
Everyone was at that wedding.
Yeah, and so we got engaged on August 2nd, and we had our wedding 3 months later.
Because moms.
Well, no, me. I knew what I wanted. Ate said I was the easiest bride ever. I said, let's tour these 2 facilities, Suncoast or South Point, because I knew I wanted a big ballroom. And I knew my mom had the hookups,
And you know who wasn't easy during this whole process?
Who?
Our moms.
Yeah.
Our moms were so stressed about everything. My mom was the decor, and your mom trying to get the discounts and the
cheapest. And then the guest list.
And the guest list. And we had to invite everybody.
Like, we had people that, like, probably knew me when I was, like, a kid. Like, my mom's, like, ex-coworker or something. Or
everyone was at that wedding.
All of your mom's former coworkers.
All of my mom's coworkers were there.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we sure about this? Like, this is a big wedding. It filled up the entire banquet hall.
I think we had like 500 guests, but even some people like canceled the day of.
Yeah, that was really frustrating.
But anyways, like I knew what I wanted. I knew the color of dresses for my bridesmaids. I knew we had 4 flower girls, like 2 ring bearers, or was it just Caleb?
Caleb and Pepper.
Oh yeah, Pepper. Pepper was in our wedding because he was our first baby.
He was our first baby.
Yeah, but to plan a wedding for like 500 people in 3 months, I was definitely crazy for that. Yeah. I knew everything because I knew I wanted to get married to you. Yeah. It was just a matter of when you would propose.
That's the point. Like, I never even thought about a wedding. I never even thought about kids. I never thought about like, oh, we're gonna get married and we're gonna be together forever. Like, nothing ever, like, that was just over my head. Like, because I never met someone who wanted to, who even thought that far ahead with me, or who even took it serious. Because I was.
And that's the thing with me. Like, I've only had one serious relationship in my whole life before you, and I would never date just to date.
Like a Mormon.
You can't put that in there.
Why not?
No.
Okay, I'll cut.
I would never date just to date. Like, I thought of the long term, you know, and I wouldn't just get married just for fun, you know, like.
Because so many marriages just get like, they break up so quickly, so fast, like on any issue, like any real like little issue, or even years of built up issues, and I don't know. That always terrified me too, because I lived in a house like that.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I just love that, like, well, what's crazy too is we opened the studio when we weren't even engaged yet. We were just dating.
We put our name on things.
That was scary. And people knew, people warned me, like, because they knew that it was mainly my credit going up on it because I was the one getting out the loans and whatever. But I was like, no, I mean, like, because I trusted your passion and your vision, and we knew that we wanted this for the community because we both had the passion for the community. But
I'll never open a studio though.
No.
Really.
I'm just thankful though that like dance has kept us, you know, thriving. And
I think what's really special about like our relationship particularly is the work balance.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about work, but it'll never be just work with us.
Yeah.
Like, we complement each other really well, but on the flip side of that, like when we do have a disagreement, neither of us really like, it never comes home like that. Like, you didn't let me have my thought, or you didn't allow me to do this. It's always, we just act like normal again, like nothing, the issue kind of gets erased and we move on because we know that there's more people at stake here.
And like that's another thing too, is that you and I don't really like, we have our arguments, we have our disagreements, we've had maybe like 2 bad fights in our whole relationship.
3. I'm just kidding, I can't imagine.
But like and I love that because I don't want to grow up, or I don't want the boys to grow up with fighting parents, or like, we've never really like yelled at each other, you know? I don't think I've ever screamed at you or yelled at you in my life, unless it was just like across the studio to stop being dumb in rehearsal.
I think as always a joke, you always want to be like, can I just slap you one day?
Yeah.
You say that all the time, and I'm
That's
actually
why
kind of terrified.
At the Christmas party, it was so fun slapping you with the tortilla.
Yeah, I don't know why we allowed that to happen. But I think that it's a difficult thing for people to have is work-life balance, because we work the same job. We deal with the same people.
We're together like almost all the time.
We deal with the same things. It's like a lot of that would crush people. Like I hear it from parents all the time. Like that if I had to work with my husband, oh my God, I don't know how you guys do it. And I'm like, I don't know how we do it either. But we're both passionate about the same thing. But,
and we both know our lane too. Like,
you're better at certain things, and I'm better at certain things. And you can tell when I'm tired, and I can tell when you're tired or irritated, and I can like hop in, or you can take control when I'm out of it. It's helpful.
And on the flip side, like if I don't like your idea, or if you're not married to an idea and I for sure like don't like it, I'll just hop in and do it, and you just go away.
I'm like, okay, do it.
Yeah.
There's so much pride in, like, I don't know, people take so much pride in like, oh, it has to be my way or else.
No.
Like,
if I don't like something on my team, like, I'm gonna change it.
If it gets done, it gets done.
Yeah.
The best product is more important than my best idea. Like it could be, I'm not trying to be the most right. I just want to do what's right.
Yeah.
And if your idea is better and it gets the results done in a faster way, dude, take it. I'm not gonna stop you. And like usually, like you even like, is this idea good? It's like, yeah. Do you need help? She's like, yeah. Can you finish this? It's like, yeah. So then I build off of the idea, even though it wasn't mine. Like, and we can get very egotistical and be like, that's not my idea. That's not right. I could still go, no, it's okay. Let me build off of this.
Yeah.
We're onto something here.
And I think the beauty of what we do too is that we can make those calls on the fly. Like, most people are like, well, I need to think about it. You know, like us being professional choreographers, that's what that means. Like we need to be ready. Yeah. Like we need to be ready to make revisions or changes and bounce off of each other because that's what we signed up for and that's what we do.
Roll with the punches. Like a lot of the times, like we just got a text message today that a dancer is not going to compete this weekend. And we have a full, or not this weekend, next weekend.
This weekend. We're leaving this weekend.
Yeah. This weekend, see, my brain. And how do we operate? You know, like we have to
we have to make those like executive decisions to be like, should we just do it with the whole? Is it going to look the same? Or maybe certain sections have to be revised.
Right. But like that doesn't crush us. You know, even like this year has been really emotionally taxing for us, but I never took it out on you and you never took it out on me.
If anything, we just vented together because we both had the same emotions and the same frustrations.
Yeah, and then we handle those things differently. Like you handle it in a way that I wouldn't handle it, and I can console you because I know the way that you would handle. I know how to like not get you more mad, and usually it's just a dumb joke, and we're out of it already. This year has been really successful for Playground, for our choreography business.
We've gained some titles. We've influenced people. Like
our studio life, we've pushed people into full-time careers for dance, but outside of that, there has been a lot of hurt too. We've been like screamed at, we've been laughed at, we've been ridiculed, we've been emotionally drained, and for us, for any relationship, like because it's coming to us together, that could like draw a hard line in our relationship, and people don't understand that we are also humans. Like we make mistakes, and I don't claim to be perfect in anything that I do. It's what I try to do is just help people, and sometimes it can feel like we're only looking out for each other, but at the end of the day, that's all we got. So you know, when I make a decision for a team or for anything, it has to come from a place knowing that our relationship is vital, because if anything were to ever happen to either of us, none of this would happen. None of what we do would happen the same. And I hope people understand that like sometimes leaders are doing their best, and if you keep trying to divide the relationship or you keep trying to divide to bring down the person, you lose a lot of people in that divide. And so our relationship is tied to more than just 5, 6, 7, 8 on the floor. It's tied to a multitude of people that lean on our decisions for results, and for any couple that could crush them too, to allow that like pressure of always having to be perfect and always having to make the right decision. It's very difficult, and I don't know. I'm thankful that like you and I can operate that way, like on a business sense, for work, but come home and still have a relationship with you and I and the boys and go travel. And
I honestly love that we get to work together, and I think most people would get like sick of each other, but
I am sick of you.
I think that like with the traveling jobs and not both of us going every time, like because we know that wouldn't be possible, that helps us to be able to like, you know, bring that excitement, like, oh, I miss you, I can't wait to come home. Like
our ritual is whenever we go on a trip, we cook you some kind of delicious Filipino food when you get home, like sinigang or something. It's literally like the most exciting thing in the world. Like
to come home to a home cooked meal.
Yes, because sometimes those meals out of state just are not it. Airport food is not the one.
No.
But you're right though, that like having us away from each other for a bit of time helps to remind us like, okay, yeah, this is harder without you.
Yeah.
So
like when I'm away, I feel terrible that you have to handle everything at home, but I'm also sad because I'm not with you guys. But then when you're away, I can handle everything, but I still miss you and I want you to be with me, you know?
Yeah, you handle family life better. Something I'm still learning. Yeah.
So. But at the end of the day, like you said, we only got each other. Like, we have family and we have supporters, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you and I are always gonna just be there for each other, and like our ride or dies, you know.
Yeah, that's why I think people need to have a little grace with like their leaders, like not just us, but in general to anyone that has to operate a large group of people. Emotions are wide. One decision isn't like a personal attack. I think people take one offense and then it builds into this big ordeal. And then that gets to the leaders. And then if you want something nice and you want things to get done, your leader is no longer worried about the thing that they were hired to do.
Yeah.
They're worried about fixing the issue that's in front of them instead of creating routines or trying to win championships or reading rules or helping dancers. I think
leaders are unappreciated for sure.
I mean, that's the role we take.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I've felt more appreciation this year than unappreciation, but there has definitely been that portion, or not portion, but like a good amount of like people that don't appreciate us or have a weird way of showing it.
Yeah.
But we've received so much love from from a lot of people that do matter the most.
And I think the best thing to do is pay it forward too. Like, I've been thanking people more often. I've been showing more gratitude in hopes that will somehow make its way back to me, because if I can't preach and I can't expect people to like give me gratitude if I'm not also sending it back out. So to everyone that like crosses paths with me, opens a door, helps me with choreography, helps me block, helps me get into a room,
or just shows up,
brings me a piece of paper, it's like, thank you, I appreciate everything that you do. Because, you know, if they were me and I were them, I would want that appreciation too.
Yeah.
And I try not to focus on like the people that have.
We've even appreciated people that don't appreciate us.
Which is how it should be. It's like a gift. It's like, here's your gift, only if you give it back to me later.
Yeah,
you know, like
I'm not gonna appreciate people if only they appreciate me first, you know?
It's a gift. Thank you for what you've done. I appreciate you. Here's for you.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we have to be like besties after that, you know? Like
it's like a tithe. Like it's a gift. It never really truly leaves your hands. It blossoms into its own seed, or it gives its own seeds. And I think that appreciation does go a long way, but we can't expect it if we don't give it first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like an apology, you can't just, if you do someone wrong, you can't just say sorry if they say sorry to you first or whatever. Like if you guys,
right.
You know, if you expect something from someone and that's the only reason you'll give it to them, like.
I'm only giving you this because you're going to give me one back later.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Like, I'm sorry.
Or I'll only give you this if you give it to me first.
Right. I'm sorry. Your turn.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not how sorries work. Sorries are also gifts. Even if you don't feel like you're wrong, even if you don't feel like even if you don't feel like you committed an issue, you made someone feel a certain way, and no matter how that meeting transpired, if you want to save the relationship, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I truly didn't.
And that's not even just, that's like with marriage too. Like, there's things that you and I have like apologized to each other for that I'm sure we felt like we didn't need to apologize to each other for, but you save the argument, you save the.
Yeah, and you mean it too. Like, we don't keep score. We don't keep like who did what.
I just don't want to fight, you know?
Yeah, so you just go, I'm sorry, let's move on from this.
Yeah.
Because it's better for everyone. Because, like I said, you and our relationship is vital, not just to us. There's a lot of really important people, dancers, lives tied to our well-being and our happiness and our structure, that if we were to falter in any way, it would hurt a lot of people, and I can't let that happen. Want to fight?
Hey, Daniel.
I miss our boys. Okay, we got to wrap this up because we got to go home. But I hope you got something out of that. That might have been a little controversial or a little spicy.
I mean, we want to be real.
We want to be honest.
Yeah, we just, like, we've had so many requests of, like, you need to tell your story, you need to, like, give advice to other dancers, other young couples, and this and that, like, or people who strive to work together with their spouse or whatever. So this is just us being real with our experiences and everything that we've been through as business partners, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiancés, husband, wife, now parents.
Yeah.
And still business owners, still choreographers. Like we wear a lot of hats, but we do know when to take them off and switch them out, you know?
Yeah, and if there's something you want us to talk about more, maybe choreography related or dance related, or maybe how to train dancers more, or how do you block, or whatever, this is a good avenue for us to do this. Or maybe we should have someone on this podcast just to, you know, help lighten up the conversation, give us another perspective, because we just want to talk with cool people who do the same thing that we do and love it the same way we do.
Yeah.